All right, you guys, today we're doing a very simple activity. We're doing a rotational symmetry design. So we're going to start by making concentric circles with radius 1.5 inches and then another one at 2.5 inches. So they're going to be overlapping circles that share the same center. So materials that we need a piece of white paper, so an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. We need to have one piece of patty paper. It's just tracing paper. Okay, we need to have a ruler, compass, protractor, pencil, and colored pencils to beautify our design. So starting with a sheet of paper, we want to make our starting position just a dot in the center of the paper. So here I'm just going to lay out a fresh sheet of paper like so, and I'll put a dot somewhere in the middle. All right, so now I need to have a pathway of 1.5 inches and 2.5 inches from that point. I'm trying to get my compass setting, my radius setting. So here would be 1.5 inches right there. I'll put a little dot and I'll keep going for 2.5 like so. So then I take my compass. I want to open it to either setting to start. Let's say that I pick the small one to start. So my needle is right at the center, and I want to go right here to where 1.5 inches would be for my radius. So that feels good. So then I'm going to spin my compass around and make my first circle. Okay, like so. There's my first one. My radius is 1.5 inches. Okay, now I need to do the same thing for the larger one. So I'm going to a 2.5. Okay, let me make sure my setting is good. So here to here. So 2.5 inches should be open that wide. And then I spin it around and I make a concentric circle. So my circles have the same center, but different radii, different radius measures. So my first one here is 1.5 inches, and this one is 2.5 inches. So the next thing that I want to do with my protractor is I want to pick a degree measure. I'm going to give you options. You can pick 30 degrees. You can pick 45 degrees, you can pick 60 degrees. All of those are fine. So make a choice. Which one do you want? I'm going to say 45. I like that 45 degree angle right there. So if I like 45, I'm going to lay down my protractor like so. Okay, here is the center of my circle. Now it's going to be the vertex of the angle I want to draw. That's 45 degrees. I'm going from 0 degrees up to 45. So right here, I'll make a little notch that I've just created a 45 degree angle. All right, so in this little wedge that's 45 degrees, I want to do some cool pattern, whatever you guys want, some sort of design. I'm going to do something kind of short and sweet. Kind of playing with my different radius measures, right? I had a radius here that I knew was 1.5, and here's 2.5. Okay, so I kept within my little slice here, and now I'm going to take my tracing paper, and I'm going to overlay it so that that circle is right inside of it. I'm trying to frame it perfectly, right? So the tracing paper we have is either 5 inches by 5 inches or 5.5 by 5.5. So the one that I have here at home as I record this is 5.5. I got a little bit of extra wiggle room. So that's nice. I'm going to mark the center like so. Okay, and I'm going to draw in right here a tiny little notch just to keep myself anchored like so. You'll see why in just a moment. So tiny little notch on my tracing paper so I can keep myself anchored. All right, so now I want to copy that design. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trace over it Again, you could do whatever you want. You have total artistic license to play. Do any sort of design that you want. All right, so I've traced my design. Now I'm going to rotate 45 degrees. So that little pathway that I marked initially, that little segment right there, that little notch, I'm using it to help line me up right here. So I'm going to do the same thing again, make a little marking so I can keep my eye on that 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to retrace my design. Okay, looking good so far. Now I rotate another 45 degrees, line it up just like so. Mark that little notch to keep yourself grounded. And then do the same thing. I'm going to retrace. Okay, rotate one more time. Here we go. Do the same thing. And mark my little notch here and keep going. Okay, so you can see where I'm at right now. Let me pull this away so you can see it just here. Let me turn off the light. Like that, I think that makes it easier to see. So what you can see is I've done 4 stages of my rotational symmetry design. I would have to go another 4 to get all the way back to where I started. So what I'm creating from this initial wedge, right, this 45-degree angle that I used, is I've created a design that I could rotate around, and I would have 8 iterations of it. I would have a design that has 8-fold rotational symmetry, right? I could rotate in 1 full revolution, and it would overlap onto itself 8 times if I continued this pattern all the way around. All right, have a lovely rest of your day.